Okay, so the nation designer is like the single biggest feature that we've added to EU4 since launch. And as the name might imply, it actually lets you design your own nation. It lets you pick a starting point, it lets you pick a name, it lets you make a flag, it set up all the things like government and culture and religion. You can pick exactly what provinces you own, and you can even design your own ideas. You pick basically anywhere in the world that is not water or wasteland. You can start here, you can start here, you can start here, we can be like New Zealand.
So you can make any area that is colonizable and make a nation
Yeah,
there if you want.
absolutely.
We're going to go and take a look at the nation that we're going to be creating. First of all, because it was the one that seemed to be the most accurate for this particular broadcast, we're going to create the Amazon Empire.
Yes.
However, it is a bit of an Amazon with a twist, because it is the Amazonians of Greek myth, apparently.
Yep. Alright, and here we go. So, you click the province, you start, and it brings up the nation designer interface. And this is basically where all the fun stuff happens. So, we've come into the appearance tab where you can design the flag, but we're gonna wait a little bit with that. I mean, we'll start with, as you said, we'll make it a despotic monarchy. And very appropriately, both the ruler and the heir are both set to be women. We're actually already a despotic monarchy, so let's just take a look at the options you have for government. So, because, you know, I won't get the chance to open this otherwise. There's a bunch of different ones. You can generally pick any government that's available in the early game. You can't start as like a constitutional monarchy in 1444, but you can start at a later date and design later governments that are available then. The nation designer is not limited to the 1444 start date. So, you know, if you wanted, we could be the Amazon Empire, for example, which I feel is even more appropriate. The way this works is that all the starting information for your nation will be taken from the first province you pick. Then you can edit it freely, but that's like what you start with. So, because Trebizond is Greek Orthodox, you know, it's Eastern, all that stuff, then you get all those things by default. You don't have to stay that way, but it's, you know, a simple way if you just want to really quickly throw together a nation.
Are there any particular cultures in there that are of interest?
Let's have a look, and let's just say there is a lot to pick from.
This is not a small game.
I'm still scrolling.
This is not a small game, kids.
Yep. And as you can see, you have all the normal religions to pick from, but what's this? At the bottom here.
Ooh, that's Jewish.
That's Jewish. And what's this?
That would appear to be Norse.
Yeah, it would. Inuit.
Yes.
Right.
Inuit.
We're going Inuit.
We are now the Amazonian Inuit Empire. And basically, if we can quickly go to the map graphics button in this particular case. So map graphics in this particular case, it governs the style of the city. It governs the style of
the units.
Of the units.
Yeah.
So
you can see there that there are costs associated with it. I should probably bring it up real quickly because it's sort of the central point. So when you create your nation, you have a certain amount of points to spend, and most things cost points. The amount of points you have available is something you can set. You can sort of set the difficulty of your custom start, anywhere from like 50 to 800. 200 is a standard start. It's basically a high-end, medium, or low-end major power, like Hungary, somewhere between Hungary and Austria.
Okay.
And in the case of like culture and religion, there is no cost. For the government, the better ones cost. So our empire costs, I think it's 30 points. Yeah, because it starts with high autonomy reduction and all that stuff. For tech group, the cost is actually variable. You see, it actually depends on where you start.
Okay.
If you start in Europe and you border Western costs nothing. Because then you're like, oh, you're Western among Western. That's fine. If you start in like Eastern Europe, Eastern is the norm. If you want to be Western there, it costs a little bit of points.
Right.
If you start in North America, then North American is the norm, and if you want to be Western there, you better be ready to shell out some points. It's
really expensive.
Yeah. So, in this case, what happened was that he started as North American, where Western is the norm.
It was North American technology group in Ulm, by
which
the way.
meant like minus 200 points.
which meant that I could go and do all sorts of ridiculous shit.
And then he could, you know, Westernize basically right away. So, well, no, not too much though. I mean, to some degree, it's always going to be kind of a breakable feature. But we do want to make it somewhat balanced, not the least because we want this to work in multiplayer. Yeah. And it does work in multiplayer.
Up to how many users?
30. You can have 32 custom nations at the same time. So here's how this works. Just like you click on a map to select your first province, you can now also click to select more provinces. So
And they all cost points,
yes.
obviously.
You can see in the tooltip here that it says what it costs, and it's based on the base tax and the manpower. Gold provinces cost more, and provinces with special modifiers like, you know, Dalaskogen with the big copper mountain cost more. The point is based on how much the province is worth. So it's based on its tax and manpower.
Okay.
So I mean, the richer, it's not just about the amount of province, it's also the richer the provinces. I mean, look here, Constantinople, 22 points. Whereas, let's say, Theodoro, 6 points.
Or some wasteland in
Yeah,
Siberia.
let's have a look here at Mighty Kola. 2 points.
2 points.
There is an extra cost for basically the more disjointed your nation is.
Okay.
So if you go like... Boop, boop, boop. 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 And this is not actually in yet, so this is perfectly fine right now, but this will be completely unaffordable.
Okay.
Alright, so we spent 133 points.
67 points are remaining. There's a nice little tooltip here that says where the total, what the total.
So we spent
mechanics
44 on
is.
tax, 40 on manpower, 30 on being an empire. We could change that if we want. Go back to being a despotic monarchy. -4 for being Eastern in Europe. -6 for our amazing ruler. And 28.8 for our terrible heir.
Amazonian Empire, Despotic Monarchy, traditions. So, first of all, we need 100% hostile core creation on us.
Alright. Let's find the hostile corporation.
Okay. 100%. So there is this thing right here with the 1 to 4 thing. What's that all about?
So how it works is that for the traditions you pick 2 modifiers. For each of these ideas, which is one of the 7 national ideas that you unlock by buying ideas, you pick 1 modifier, and for the ambitions you pick 1 modifier. But you can change their strength. So the default hostile core creation modifier is only 25%. If you want it up to 100%, you'll have to increase its level all the way up to level 4. And it gets exponentially more expensive. Right, so you can stack discipline up to 10% a total. And that'll cost you, let's see, what will 10%, I think it costs like, I'm trying to remember, but it's like 30 points or something. It's a lot. The cost also varies based on how powerful the modifier is. So discipline is expensive. Core creation cost reduction for you is expensive. National tax modifier and production efficiency not as expensive. So, we're trying to balance it. But we obviously still want you to be able to build a strong idea set. We just don't want you to be able to be like, oh, so hey, I have 100 plus 120% discipline. Would you... Here, I have 1 soldier. Oh,
It's like a
I see you have
traditions.
1,000. Well,
Traditions is Elon on crack, and
yeah.
basically stuff like
I mean,
that.
you can... If you want to do that, you can set the custom start to very easy and just go nuts, or you can mod yourself to have unlimited points and really go nuts. You can even mod so that you can all of these can support up to level 10, which would be 25% discipline. And then you can mod the discipline modifier so it's 10% per step, so it's 100%. I mean, if you want to do that stuff, go ahead. But by default, we're trying to aim for something that can be played in multiplayer without just needing an insane amount of house rules. Alright, 200 points.
Alright, let's play!
And, okay, so you're all done. You've done all the stuff, and then you click done. And now you're back here. And, you can select another nation if you want to. But, should we play?
Let's play.
Let's play.
Alright, we're now in the game. And this is going to cause some serious problems right off the bat. Because nobody's going to like us. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we forgot a piece of Georgia.
What the we'll add it to our greater power soon.
Yup.
Look at Amazonia, everybody.
Hey, Georgia likes us.
Hey!
We took all their land, but they like us. Circassia doesn't like us. The Golden Horde definitely doesn't like us. The Ottomans, not fans.
One thing with this particular feature, it is Iron Man compatible, just not achievement compatible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And let's look at our troops.
Oh yes, I can believe we got about those. We have our Inuit tribal troops.
I also think we don't have any cities at the moment.
Because the
I don't
Inuit don't
think
have
the
any
Inuit-
city models because they use teepees and
Yeah.
igloos.
So our Inuits all live in little churches. And then there's a custom set of nations. And what this is that if you're looking for something even more historical than Am das Meer, then you can change this. The normal setup is the default. That is, the map is historical, and you can play custom nations. Then there is the historical setup, and that is just only historical nations, no custom nations. If you're boring and you're playing multiplayer and you don't want Am das Meer, well, go ahead, but you're a boring person. Then there's the random setup, and I will show.
Okay.
But first, I will show the custom setup because they're tied together, and look at what happens. Kaboom!
What just happened?
So the custom setup means that the world starts empty, aside from the custom nations that players create. So this is the only nation in the entire world. Everything else is empty. And in this game mode, everyone starts with a colonist. You can get an extra colonist via like the traditions and such, but everyone gets a colonist. So this is basically custom Fantasia. And the random is very similar. It also makes the map empty. You only have the custom nations, but what happens when you click play is that the parts that were not filled by custom nations and isn't like uncolonized by default will be filled in with completely random nations.
What?
You will have like Baden in South America.
What?
Yes. You did not know this?
No?
Well, there you go.
This entire option menu is completely blows my mind already.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all about the nation designer for today. So we won't be focusing on any of the other stuff that also comes in El Dorado, because there is shit tons more.
There are more dev diaries coming, and I can reveal right now that the next one will be about the Americas and liberty.